Rock 95, that is Papa Roach and Scars. It is Spence. Good morning, and doing some extra duty today. Joining me from Toronto is Molly Rennick from a terrific band, Living Dead Girl. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good morning. Yeah, we have a little bit of a delay there. Sorry about that. It's our silly internet here. Sorry about that. But
Yeah,
tell me
sorry,
about
it's
the
like
band.
lagging a little bit.
That's okay. Tell me about the band. Okay, originally, I saw the title. I'm like, well, is it Rob Zombie related? And then clearly it's not. You have a really interesting story of why the band is called Living Dead Girl. I'll let you explain.
I'm so sorry, just lagged there. Sorry, let me explain what was the question.
Well, give me a
It just lagged
background of
there.
the name of the band and how you came up with that. It's an interesting story. It's a scary one.
Oh yeah, the name of the band. So contrary to popular belief, it is not a Rob Zombie reference. I came up with it when I was 15 years old, and admittedly at the time the only Rob Zombie song I was familiar with was Dragula. So it was not a Rob Zombie reference. I came up with it because my parents basically told me that when I was born, they thought I was a stillborn for like a good few minutes. So yeah, basically my skin was purplish gray and like I wasn't breathing and like the doctor was freaking out and they all thought I was dead. So when my parents told me this when I was like a teenager, I thought it was so cool because like by like age 9 or 10, I was already like wearing black lipstick and listening to metal. So like I thought it was just so cool. I was like, oh, I was born dead. How fitting. That suits me. So I came up with the name Living Dead Girl just because I felt like it like really represented me.
Yeah, that certainly does. Yeah, no doubt. That's scary. That's scary. I'm glad you're with us.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't dead either.
Right. Glad you're with us. Well, tell me about the band. Who are the other players in your band?
So our bassist is named Jordan. He's the only other like original member. I've known him since I was like 16 or 17. So he and I are kind of like the original members. And then we have John on guitar and Ryan on drums.
Oh, very cool. I really like the band. I was listening to the album a little bit yesterday, Exorcism. Jeez, we'll get more into that in a minute. But Jesus, that's heavy. Where do these influences come? Is it something that was kind of always there? That metal stuff that when you were growing up, that was something that just you gravitated towards?
I was just like raised in a household where everyone listened to rock music. So for me, like rock music was just like the only kind of music there was. Like it was just like the mainstream thing for me was always just rock music. So like I grew up listening to like Pink Floyd and Van Halen and that kind of stuff. Like I never really grew up listening to like Britney Spears and like pop music and stuff. Like I got into that stuff a bit later, but like rock music's just always been what we listened to in my house. So like I didn't know anything else. But as I got older, I got into like heavier stuff. Like I got into more like stuff with screaming and like more gothic music like once I was like 10 years old.
Well, you have such a terrific voice. What age did you kind of start singing or knew that you were pretty good at singing?
Well, I started singing when I was probably like 5 years old, but I didn't get good at it until a few years ago, honestly. It took a lot of work because I was like in choirs as a kid and I had like a singing teacher for a few years, but like I was getting worse for some reason with my singing teacher. Like a lot of the techniques she was telling me just like, I don't know, like it was making me worse. I was like pushing way too hard and always sounded either flat or sharp. Like I was very confident and had good stage presence, but admittedly I was very bad. So finally, like after like getting a new vocal coach and stuff, and within a couple months, we just like corrected the muscle memorization of like doing everything completely wrong. Like we had to like fix it basically. But so yeah, I've been singing my whole life, but I wasn't good at it until a few years ago.
Do you remember the first song that you did in front of people, in front of an audience?
Oh, when I was like 7 years old, I used to make little tickets and sell them to my family, like my whole extended family, like grandparents, aunts and uncles and stuff. Like I'd charge them like $1 a piece, which is a lot of money when you're 7 years old. And I would like force everyone to come into my bedroom and listen to me sing Avril Lavigne songs for like 2 hours into my karaoke machine. And I made my stuffed animals little instruments and said that they were my band. And I used to just stand there and sing Avril Lavigne songs, like with the swearing and everything. And then like my parents would get mad and be like, okay, no, stop, cut it off right there.
Well,
Like I used to just like perform every chance I got, but I feel sorry now for the people that had to watch it.
Well, God, you have such a cool band. Tell me about the new album, and well, you went with a really good producer, by the way. Tell me about this album that's been out not a year or 6 months or so, something like
2
that.
months.
Couple,
Only 2 months.
really, that short. Okay, well, tell me about Exorcism.
Exorcism. It was such a journey making it, but like once everything lined up, it happened so quickly. Like it took 4 years of recording demos and trying to find the right producer, and basically me not knowing what sound I was going for. So like I kept scrapping my like entire album's worth of content, just like throwing it in the garbage and restarting, because it was my very first album. So like I didn't quite know what I wanted to go for yet. Like I didn't really know. I hadn't narrowed down. I just knew I wanted to make like a cool heavy album, but I hadn't quite narrowed down the sound yet. So it took a lot of experimenting, and that's why.
We got a little hiccup in the.
And then actually, sorry, what was that?
Nope, go ahead. We had a little blip there. Go ahead.
But once I like actually met and worked with Mitch, like actually making the album only took a few weeks. We had the entire album done, because the second I found the right person to work with, it was just like bam, bam, bam. Like we had like a song a day basically.
Well, good Lord, it's great. It is really great. There's so many really, and we'll get to a live. We have a live that we'll have in our Mosh contest here this week. More on that in just a bit. But there's so many really like standout songs that I love, and I love how you can have this beautiful voice, and then you go to a really heavier scream thing that's just outstanding. And one of the songs I love is Beautiful. It's just cool track.
Thank you.
Tell me about the track. It's different. It's pretty dark though. It's
Yeah, Beautiful felt like a risky song both to write and release, just because like the subject matter could be taken the wrong way and could possibly offend people. So like when I had that idea for that song and I was like writing it with Mitch, I was saying like we have to be careful how we do this. Like I was trying to make sure the performance of my vocals sounded sarcastic and playful so people would know I'm not being serious. And the song has gotten such a great response. It's so many people's favorite song on the album. So I'm glad people got it. Like it came across the way I wanted it to, which is good, because like when you're talking about like plastic surgery or eating disorders or like body image at all, like obviously it can be taken the wrong way. So the song is basically just talking about like being addicted to cosmetic enhancements, and just like trying not to take it too far that it mentally messes you up. So I just didn't want it to like come across as me like being judgmental or being mean or anything, but everyone loves that song. So like everyone who's heard it, like the album says Beautiful is their favorite song. So I'm glad it came out the way it did.
It's good. The other one I really, really like is Worship Me. Tell me about writing that one. Is it about someone specific?
That was the very first song I ever wrote and recorded, actually. When I was 18 years old, I recorded it in my friend's living room. I was still in high school. And it changed a couple times. Like I recorded that same song with 3 different producers in 3 different studios before we got the final version of it. But I don't even know. It wasn't even about like a specific person or anything. It was just like, I wanted to write a song that sounded like a tough girl anthem. You know what I mean? Like something that sounded like girls would hear it and be like, yeah, this is like my anthem. So I wanted it to just sound like a powerful, like in command kind of anthem.
Yeah, it comes through. Yeah, well done.
Perfect.
Quite a bit. Well, tell me about this new track. You just released it. It's called Alive. Love the video. Is really cool. I don't know where you did the filming of that and that kind of brick tunnel thing, but outstanding. Love the video. But tell me about Alive.
Alive was the very first song that I wrote and recorded with Mitch, so it felt very symbolic for it to both be the first single that we released as well as the first track on the album, because like that song is just like so sentimental to me now. But it's basically just talking about like, instead of doing the things you have to do or the boring things that you don't want to do, it's like talking about just like taking control of your life and just doing whatever you want and whatever makes you happy. So like the like hook is, when was the last time you felt alive? It's like, when was the last time you truly did something that like made you really happy or that fulfilled you, or when was the last time you like chased a dream or anything? So like it's like, it sounds like a really simple song, but like there is more meaning behind it than like the lyrics. Like I think it's a very anthemic song talking about like just like living your best life basically.
We're talking with Molly from Living Dead Girl. Are you booking some shows? How's that going? I know there's these fears of COVID and all of that. I don't know what the scene is like in Toronto. Are starting to book shows and play live again?
We don't have much luck booking shows in Canada right now just because there's so many restrictions still, but we are starting to book shows in the US, hoping for a US tour in spring of 2022. So we actually just hired a booking agent like yesterday and are planning that all out right now.
Well, very cool. Where can people find out more details and grab this album?
You can get this album on livingdeadgirl.ca. We have CDs and vinyls, and of course it's available on all streaming platforms as well.
And I know you're all over the place on social media as well, correct?
Yes, I'm very active on social media.
Yeah, check them out. They're on Facebook. I believe you're on Twitter as well. Instagram, I assume, too.
Yep, love Instagram.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We're going to crank the song up here in just a second. Thank you. Appreciate it. Love the band Living Dead Girl. Thank you, Molly, for all your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Let's do this. Here's Living Dead Girl and Alive on Rock 95.